I'm holding a VHS copy of the 1989 horror, The Burbs, starring Detective Scott Turner, Captain Miller, and Rick Gasco. It's Tom Hanks.
Oh, shit! Stupid idiot! I can't believe you!
The inspiration for Josh Fenderman and Honesty in Motion.
It's who you think I am! Who you want me to be! I your dream maker! Why can't you let me be me?
It's the lead singer of the Truth Movement, Corey Feldman.
God, I love this street.
Walt, the city worker from Die Hard, and Gus from Groundhog Day, the late Rick Dukeman.
Once they get in here, it's over, pal.
In the time it takes to rewind this tape, I'm gonna answer all of your suburban questions. Like, are you chanting right now?
Unconscious chanting. You're chanting. I want to kill everyone. Satan is good. Satan is our pal.
What is your message?
I think the message to psychos, fanatics, murderers, nutcases all over the world is do not mess with suburbanites because, frankly, we're just not going to take it anymore. You know, we're not going to be content to look after our lawns and wax our cars, paint our houses. We're out to get them, Don. We are out to get them.
And do you honestly think this is real?
This is real. Your neighbors are murdering people.
I answer all of these and more on today's episode of VHS Breakdown. I'm Miguel Jose. I own a ton of movies, but they're all on VHS. No one wants to buy them. I can't even give them away. So I'm gonna watch these films and break them down one last time.
They only come out at night. Ricky Butler says that they're nocturnal feeders.
Oh, Ricky Butler says.
Last week, when I was up on the roof with my telescope, I saw them in their backyard.
What were they doing, honey?
Digging.
Kind of like grave diggers.
Maybe.
All right, that's enough of this conversation.
So I just watched the tape, and I always remember this movie as being genuinely scary. But what I just watched is one of the most underrated, funny 80s movies of all time.
Oh, jump a little higher, Spud. Oh, snap!
Sorry, Mr. Peterson. It was a mistake. I didn't mean to. What was it?
Don't apologize.
The movie starts off, and Tom Hanks is living the American suburban dream. He wakes up on a beautiful day on Mayfield Place, a typical American white bread town that has an obnoxious paperboy. Although he's not as bad as some other ones I've seen.
$2. Cash.
We also get introduced to our favorite half of the two Coreys.
No shit.
Who's already auditioning to be the lead singer of the Truth Movement. We then meet Bruce Dern, who looks like he's the original founder of the NRA and the Tea Party.
In Southeast Asia, we call this type of thing bad karma.
We see him step in his neighbor's dog shit.
God damn it!
A poodle named Queenie, who you may remember as the same dog from Silence of the Lambs, Precious.
Precious time for a little treat.
Hanks watches all of this go down through his window. Something he does because he took off a week from work to have a staycation in his home.
I just want to hang around, be lazy, listen to the ball game and, you know, drink a couple hundred beers and maybe smoke an occasional cigar outside.
Something his wife, Princess Leia, is not a fan of.
It's your vacation.
We meet his best friend, Art, who is apparently cool shooting guns in his backyard.
Art's got a gun.
Art starts the rumors about Ray's shady neighbors,
You know, these Klopeks are strange.
with the strangest things about them being that they never leave the house or talk to anyone.
No one goes in, no one comes out, no visitors.
Which I guess did sound strange back in the 80s when neighbors actually did talk to each other.
No deliveries. What do you think they're eating over there?
Nowadays, you're a weirdo if you actually do try to talk to someone.
Fuck off!
Corey Feldman has zero problems perving on Bruce Dern's wife right in front of him.
Hey, Mrs. Rumsfeld. No tan lines this morning.
As she wears the shortest shorts I've seen since Tom Hanks in Splash.
I just don't know, Freddie. It's just something about it isn't right.
But Bruce Dern doesn't get mad. He just calls him a meatball.
That kid next door is a meatball.
Which he actually does become when he goes to star in Meatballs 4.
No shit.
Finally, one of the creepo neighbors shows his face. And holy balls, is it scary as But they finally get the courage to go introduce themselves.
Why don't you go say hi?
Well, yeah, I guess I could.
And by introduce themselves, I mean go get attacked by bees as they run away screaming and in their pants. Then it's nighttime, which of course means Corey Feldman has to break out his Michael Jackson jacket.
Gail, I swear to God, this is better than anything on television.
But it also means that it's the perfect time to keep spying on your neighbors. They even use infrared scopes to look in their neighbor's basement.
Infrared scope. Snipers use it for night vision.
In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they just hired nerds to put cameras all over their house. So as they're watching, the basement totally lights up. The house even gets struck by lightning. And with my 80s movie knowledge, I can only assume that the neighbors are creating their very own Kelly LeBrock.
So, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
Either that, or they're about to go back in time.
What happens to us in the future? Will we become assholes or something?
So Ginger El Creepo emerges from his house once again, this time to throw out a mysterious garbage bag. But unfortunately for our heroes, it starts to rain before they get to root through it like paranoid lunatics.
I say we go over and get a look at those garbage cans.
Well, call me overly cautious, but don't you think that's going to be a bit suspicious?
They decide to wait until morning to be sneaky jerks. But unfortunately, the garbage man takes it away before they have a chance to check.
Hey, could you help me get this guy out of here? Hey,
Although speaking of garbage, if you notice, Vic the garbage man is played by Dick Miller, who is also the neighbor in Gremlins.
There's a real gremlin in my camp!
A film that our director Joe Dante also directed. And speaking of Gremlins, Corey Feldman was in that movie too. And oh yeah, in the beginning of the film, the kid is eating Gremlin cereal.
Is this sweet enough?
The references never end! Queenie's owner Walter disappears. So of course these dirtbags break into his house looking for clues.
How did you get in there? A soldier's way. Saves the day. Entree.
And apparently, they steal things too.
You want to take that out of your pocket? You want to not steal that from Walter's house, please?
Hey, what's the difference? All this junk is going to end up in a flea market sooner or later anyway.
But Tom Hanks finally decides to stop spying on his neighbors. Not so much because he wants to, but because his wife won't let him anymore.
Sorry, boys. My husband's not feeling well. He has to stay in his room.
Ooh, he was bad.
So he finally decides to relax and enjoy his vacation. That is until his dog finds a bone in the yard that could only be his neighbor Walter.
This is Walter.
But Ray's wife has finally had enough, and she decides to stop letting the men be pussies and just go over there and introduce themselves already.
I think it's time that we all stopped acting like kindergartners. Don't you, Ray?
Yes, Carol.
So they finally meet.
Yoo-hoo! It's Carol Peterson from next door.
And while they're not the nicest or most attractive people in the world, they really end up being not that bad.
Klopek. What is that, Slavic?
No.
And the one brother actually ends up being pretty pleasant.
I thought the candles would be romantic for the ladies.
You're lovely.
But they eventually leave, and Tom Hanks is finally convinced that the Klopek family is okay.
I think they're clean.
Or is he?
Yeah, you totally pussy whipped or what? Why don't you just take your balls out of your wife's purse? Make a stand for one time in your life. Hey, Ray, come on. It's just a figure of speech, Ray.
He's kidding around.
Ray.
Apparently, when they were in their house, they found Walter's missing hairpiece. So now, it's game on.
I'm going over the fence, and I'm not coming back till I find a dead body. Nobody knocks off an old man in my neighborhood and gets away with it.
The Klopek family leaves, which means Hanks and his crew have all day to search his home. They dig up their backyard, they break into their house.
Ray, do the words breaking and entering mean anything to you?
They even dig up their basement to find nothing. They don't find anything. Which means the Klopek family was innocent all along. Not only that, their supposedly murdered neighbor Walter comes back home, and he's still alive.
We got a real problem.
So it ends up that the Klopeks didn't murder their neighbor. Although we find out that Tom Hanks did end up finding something in that basement. The gas line.
There's all kinds of gas that's gonna blow!
So Hanks ends up blowing up the house. And not only that, everything Carrie Fisher said about people falling off of roofs and going on fire
Now, before somebody falls off a roof or sets themselves on fire,
actually came true. So everyone in the entire town ends up showing up to see the burning house, including all the cops and the firemen.
All right. Man, that Ricky sure knows how to throw a party.
And Tom Hanks learns a very important lesson, one that still holds true today. And that's that sometimes we become so obsessed and caught up with things that we don't understand, that we end up becoming the monsters ourselves.
We're the ones who are vaulting over the fences and peeking in through people's windows. We're the ones who are throwing garbage in the street and lighting fires. We're the ones who are acting suspicious and paranoid. We're the lunatics. Us. It's not them. It's us.
And maybe we should really look in the mirror first, before we're so quick to go judge others, which is a very insightful and important lesson. Except that's not what this movie is trying to tell us. Because as it turns out, the Klopeks actually are murderers.
This your vehicle, Dr. Klopek?
They totally blew this ending. So what does this movie really teach us? It's that you should be paranoid. You should spy on your neighbors and go through their stuff. Honestly, spy on them as much as you can. Because if you really expect something shady's going on, just keep searching because you're probably right. Well, tape's done rewinding, and as the Klopeks taught us, there's only one way to properly dispose of this tape.
Oh.